Hey, I'm Lee from the Play Guitar Podcast. Today, I'm bringing you part 3 of my series on guitar progress. In part 1, I went over the main reason why progress is so hard to come by when you're learning the guitar. In part 2, I was talking about what progress feels like, average guitar progress, and common hurdles you're going to face moving forward with the guitar. And today, I finished with my guitar progress guide. So let's go ahead and get started. Streamlining your progress. So by now, you surely understand that steady, consistent progress is the goal. It doesn't matter what level you're at. It doesn't matter what style you're playing. If you're not progressing, you're stuck and the frustration starts to set in. We need to set ourselves up for success and keep in mind that consistent progress beats intermittent practicing every single time. That means you get much farther faster with a smart daily routine than not picking up your guitar for long periods of time and then just playing for hours and hours and hours. Let's talk about ways to make this easier. Here is my super easy guitar progress guide. Moving forward on the guitar, it's tough to keep up. We've gone over a lot of things that can keep you from this path up till now, but how about some best practices? Here are some things to keep in mind so you don't find yourself frustrated and confused. Number 1, set yourself up for success. Setting yourself up for success is all about one word, and that word is routine. You can't avoid it. Just practicing here or there whenever you feel like it, it's great, it's fun, but it really works against progress. Something about that daily overturn of practice, it's magic. Even if it's not for a very long session, it works your memory. Going day to day to day. It also works your hand-eye coordination and it keeps concepts and new skills fresh in your mind. And it allows your subconscious to sort out some of these problems when you're not playing. Have you ever struggled with something one day and then you woke up the next day, tried it again, and it was no problem at all? The brain's a very powerful thing. It uses this repetition to your advantage. So you can take a listen to my episode 38, which was my practice space setup, and also my 10-minute practice routine. That was episode 41. Listen to those episodes. They will give you great tips on how to really get efficient with your practicing. Okay, let's move on to number 2. That's avoid distractions. Distractions are the guitar progress killer. They are. They really are. And earlier, I went over how free guitar content, it can overwhelm you and derail your progress, and that kind of a la carte learning, it's a very slow way to go. Keeping focus is tough to do when there's so much to learn, and it's important to keep this in check, but I don't really think that's the number 1 distraction for guitar players. I've got something else in mind. Let me see if mine is here. No, it's not. Your smartphone. It's something you carry around with you all the time. It's a mini-sized distraction powerhouse. It's got one purpose, and that's to get your attention. You'll get a notification. New cat video is just uploaded. How can you focus? You can't focus when you hear that beep. Even if you try to ignore it, your brain starts to work. It starts wondering, what is it? Is it something important? I'll just check it for a second. And before you know it, bam, your time is done. You have no time left to practice. So definitely turn off notifications from your phone when you practice. I've gone one step further a few times. I did the unthinkable. I just turned it off. And you say, what? You turned your phone off? You can't turn it off. You're going to miss everything. And then everything will be meaningless. Just remember to turn off your notifications. But if you're using your phone as a practice tool, if you're using it for a metronome or for other things, just turn the notifications off. But in the long run, you'll be glad you put this into practice. It's going to help a lot. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Don't avoid the tough stuff. Make it a practice to work on the things that are uncomfortable first. First, get it out of the way and set a time limit as well. Only work on it for a specific amount of time. Don't work these things to death. Give your problem, 5 or 10 minutes, and then move on. Even if you think you might be able to get it if you just had a few more minutes practice, just stop. Let your brain work this. Let it work it out overnight. Or later on in the day, really spend some time thinking about what it was that was giving you such a hard time and sleep on it. Return to it the next day and see what happens. If you keep this up for a while, and I know that this will start to give you really good results. When you avoid foundational skills that you know are going to help you in the long run, you're doing a lot of damage. You're tempted to move on something that seems easier and it's a lot more fun. The problem is that a lot of what we do as guitar players rely on the basics. If you're missing a part of the basics, you're going to start to struggle. And this is something I stress a lot. It's something that definitely bears repeating because I've seen it. It's over and over. It's the big stumbling block to my new students. And finding and correcting those overlooked skills, it always gives good results and a lot of smiles. Okay, number 4, do your research. Someone's got to drive this thing. Spend some time away from the guitar and do a little bit of research. If you're using self-guided practice, you need to become a guide, a great guide. And how can you guide yourself or anyone else without knowledge of where you're going, the path that you're working on? Just typing the phrase into Google, how do I, and then whatever it is you're working on, you're going to find a lot of very helpful people who have provided the steps to achieve your goal. And write them down and work them one step at a time until you reach your goal. Slow and steady. Daily practice routine with a direction. And that's my favorite way to progress on the guitar. All right, number 5, structure your practice. I recommended working on the tough stuff first before, but don't just stop there. Plan your practice session in advance. Find out the things you need to be able to do to achieve your goal and split your time between them. Harness the power of a daily practice routine over several skills. So not only will you be working each problem, you'll start to see how each of those skills work together to really achieve your ultimate goal. And it's going to happen in a much shorter time period. Okay, there's my guitar progress guide. And we've come to the end of my series on guitar progress. But before I go, I want to remind you about my free video lesson. It's called Get Your Blues Soloing Under Control. It's the 6 steps I found that will give you the right foundations for playing killer blues solos in no time at all. And it's a lesson I put together after I got together with some listeners, and it's really good. And the easy way to find it is just go to freeblueslesson.com. Go there, you'll get all my other information sent right to you. And you can find that again at freeblueslesson.com. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the show. And I had a great time bringing you this week's mini-series on guitar progress. And I will see you next week for episode 47. Thanks a lot.